In order to understand the major difference between price effect and a shift in demand, let me show you how it looks visually. Regardless of the product, the demand curve represents this entire length of prices and given quantities. So it's a connect the dots kind of thing. All of these particular dots on this line would represent different prices at different quantities for each one. So, in order for us to get the real picture here, let's say that we take a price at point X and decrease that point to point Y. The only thing I've done is move along the curve from point X down to point Y. If we want to attach numbers to this, if the price in question was $3, let's say for a Slurpee, and we decrease that price to $1, does it not make sense that the quantity demanded would increase, let's say from 5 people that wanted it at $3 to 20 people that wanted it at $1 within the next hour? So, as you can see, this price change only creates a change in the quantity demanded. It does not create a separate demand curve in either direction. That does not occur. Given the same kind of supply and demand graph, if I add supply to the equation and we take into consideration one of the factors of demand that can shift demand, it's important for you to realize which direction the curves can go. If you're going to increase demand, let's say that our income level increased, that means that we're going to shift our demand curve outward to the right. If that's the case, we now have a new equilibrium point. Let me change the color here so you can see that, which creates a change in the price and quantity demanded. It would increase our price, we'll say from P1 up to P2, and increase our quantity from Q1 to Q2. Our result would be the following. It would be an increase in demand. Our supply does not change, and both price and quantity increase. That is an increase in demand. For a decrease in demand, let's say we take a different factor and still graph shoes. If we were graphing Nike shoes and the price of a substitute good increased, let's say let's say that the price of Adidas decreases, this would cause a decrease in the demand for our Nike shoes. So what direction would we move the curve? We want to make sure we do this correctly. So if I move the curve to the left, this direction, and label that D2 versus our first one, D1, we now create a new intersection at this point right here. This we should label E2 versus E1 to see the difference. So we can clearly see that this creates less quantity demanded, and the price would change from P1 and decrease down here to P2. Our final answer then would result like this: DSPQ. This is a decrease in demand. Supply does not change. Both price and quantity decrease. So only the 7 factors of demand can actually shift the demand curve. Thank you for listening.